Well, young Scooter died in the weirdest way possible.
Yeah.
And a former contestant of Baddies, Demetria Spence, made a 911 call and falsely accused, well, not him, but a group of fictional men abusing a woman, which caused some police to show up to this apartment complex, and then he went off running, and then he ends up breaking his leg and dies, and so forth. There was the whole thing about, did he get shot or did he break his leg? Because I interviewed Swamp Izzo, who basically, did his first mixtape, was his DJ, kept pushing him. They were super close. He said when he got to the hospital, Scooter's mom told him that the doctor told her that he had been shot.
That's what the actual doctor said.
Really?
The doctor said it.
He told you that?
His mother. And I'm talking to his son, and his son says his leg is broke. So I'm asking her, like, he's saying his leg is broke. They never said that. And she said, no. They said he's been shot. I said, he's been shot. She was like, yeah, he has a lot of blood in his chest area. He's been shot. But his son is telling me that his leg has been broken. So that was the confusing part.
But then later on, it was like he broke his leg.
Okay.
And the official coroner was, his leg was broken. But then now they're saying the family hired a private coroner to go through, and they're saying it was a shooting. To me, it's like it doesn't.
Wow.
Well, it makes no sense because it's like the actual medical examiner knows the difference between a bullet wound and a broken leg.
Yeah.
Or a puncture into the leg through a fence. Like, it's not. I could probably tell you the difference.
And it just seems like the least likely scenario in which anybody would ever think they could get away with a cover-up. If there was a cover-up, it would probably be, dozens of police officers all having to work together, and medical people, the ambulance crew, the coroner, et cetera. Like, the idea that they're just pulling the wool over our eyes seems extremely unlikely to me. But yeah, I mean, I can't think of a weirder way to die. I've hopped a lot of fences throughout my life, riding BMX bikes. That was just kind of like an everyday thing, having to hop fences over and over and over. The only thing that occurred to me was like, a lot of times you'll see a fence with like razor wire or barbed wire on top of it. That's a fence you leave the fuck alone, because that shit is terrifying. But I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine. I guess maybe if I saw the crime scene, I could kind of figure out how this took place. But I mean, a lot of times when people die in hip hop these days, it's like you're kind of like doing the homework behind the scenes to be like, holy shit, who was this guy? Because I somebody passed away and I never really listened to him. That's the opposite of it with me and Scooter. Like, I was such a huge fan of him. I've been trying to interview him up until my most recent time in Atlanta. He made it clear to me that he's like just not really into the interview thing, and that he preferred to keep his mystique. But man, that was like always just one of my favorite rappers, one of the most bizarre lyricists ever. Just the extreme hyperbole, the metric tons. He just like really painted this picture of him as this drug kingpin that's still to this day. It's hard for me to imagine that he wasn't a drug kingpin. Like, even when I heard about the scenario, I'm thinking, well, it's got to have been a trap house, right? Because it's like his lyrics just immersed you into the idea that he was this drug god to such a crazy extent, but just seemed like such a good guy. Had so many relationships with so many big artists. Even like, yesterday I was just watching a bunch of the most recent videos on his channel, and, he had a song with Future from a year ago with 10 million views. It's like a lot of these guys just continued to have like a real relationship with him over the years. The one thing that I was a little surprised about was Gucci. I don't want to be wrong about this. I hope I'm not wrong, but I don't believe that Gucci said rest in peace Scooter, because Gucci signed him at one point. He signed to both Future and Gucci, but there was a relatively recent Young Scooter song, or in the last couple of years, where he said, I'll probably never do another song with Gucci Mane. That was the most I heard him speak on any kind of rift between them. But I always wanted to get to the bottom of that and know exactly what took place with them. Now, obviously, Gucci falls out with everybody, but
he kind of does, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's very. You see the way he moves. He moves with very, very few people around him, and I never really heard any information about that. But yeah, I mean, shit, rest in peace, bro. That was just one of my favorite rappers. I really need to go back and watch like the interviews that he did do many years ago. But Scooter, such a legend.
I've interviewed him before.
Yeah,
There's a couple of
long
Vlad
time
TV,
ago, right?
yeah, Scooter interviews. And then I remember at one point he called me and Academics to police.
Oh, well,
Yeah. So then that was pretty much it for our interviews.
standard rapper stuff.
Yep.